Hey guys, it's Minsu from Super Team Buddy First Unite, and I'm here with.
Cody, the resident bad guy from Winnipeg.
Okay, and what did you play?
Everyone calls it going second Orcust, so if you look it up, that's probably what it'll pop up as, but I call it going second board break or Gizmek or Turbo.
Okay, and let's get to the deck list.
Alright, so like I just mentioned, you got the Gizmek Orochis, you got 3 of these guys. So there's a couple like baseline Yu-Gi-Oh! Theories you need to understand. If you want to see a card, you play 3 of it. You don't play 2 because you kind of want to see it. You only play 1 copy of something if you can search it. But the idea is I wanted to see Gizmek Orochi, so you play 3 of it. If you're not familiar with Gizmek Orochi, it's like a pseudo snow fairy tale. But you can do it on the end phase of your opponents going first, summon it to the field, and puts your opponents in a lot of weird 50-50 situations where they can use removal on it or just take the hit. And that's another theory going into this deck build, is that you are trying to put your opponent in positions where they have to waste removal on things that you're basically doing for free. So there you got the 3 Gizmek, you got 3 Scrap Recyclers as the only normal summon in the deck if you want to not count the Orcust low levels as normal summons. Scrap Recycler is, again, another card that forces your opponent to respond. You want to play cards that makes your opponent use up their resources so that you whittle them down to nothing and kill them. I just want to play a normal summon that force your opponent to respond in some way, and if they didn't, again, you could just straight up dump the Gizmek or Orcust combo pieces. You could play an Invoked Engine, and a lot of people do for the same means. They play a going second normal summon that forces your opponent's response. But if you play something like the Invoked Engine, it forces you to play a lot of A into B into C combos, and I didn't want to have a handful of Bs and Cs when I wanted to draw the As, if that makes sense. I just wanted things that standalone forces my opponent to do something. And like I was mentioning, you got the 2-2-2 Orcust ratio. What's considered standard is 2-3-1. I'm playing 2-2 and 2, not necessarily because I think this looks better, but I didn't really rely on the Orcust engine, so I played the bare minimum. I thought bare minimum, so that if I ever activated the Gizmek Orochi, I didn't just kill the whole engine. If I lose all my symbols, I can still do Orcust things going second. If I lose all the harps, I can do yada yada yada. I can literally lose 5 pieces of this. I can still do some Orcust things. The problem lies in when you're playing a very small bare bones engine, like you say you do a 2-2-1 ratio, and you lose this, then all of a sudden you have issues. So I ran what I thought was the absolute bare minimum to still play Orcust, regardless of the random banishing. Again, the theory is you play 3 of the things you want to draw, and you play the minimums of things you don't. And the Orcust things are not bad to draw. So then the danger package. The standard 2-2-2-2. Again, you can only play 2, so you play as much as you can to draw them. The danger Bigfoot is solely because I have some rank 8 synergies. Going forward, I probably wouldn't play them, but I thought it was really cute that if I needed a rank 8, then I have technically 5 copies I could force out by using Nightmare discards to force out my plays. Otherwise, obviously, dangers are really good for breaking boards because nobody really wants to negate a danger in hand. Speaking of which, it's a breaking board deck. You play the Pankratops because this breaks boards. You play the Vishuda because it breaks boards. And all of these things are in the deck with the mind of, I want to put my opponent in a position where they have to use some blind negate effect. I go 10E Vishuda, make the 10E link 1. Even if they negate it with like a Call by the Grave, at least I still got the removal out of the way. So this essentially turned into a link 1 that popped the back row. And then this guy. Kaijus kind of go against the theory of removal that doesn't cost me resources, but it's Kaijus. Very few things just straight up say, I out a card like Kaijus do. So you gotta play it. Also, you'll see a lot of Orcust variants playing Radiant. That makes sense if you're playing something like Dark Refer or Lure, something of that nature. I found that if I give my opponent the Kaiju and I don't have a direct lethal shot by using Boral Sword into it, I wanted something weak enough that I didn't have to waste resources. Because you'll find that if you give them a giant Kaiju, like Jizukiru or Thunder King, you're going to be using something like Dinkirsu effect to send it away. When in reality, you just want to get it off the field, and that's why I play the weakest one. Also, it being level 8 has some small fringe benefits. And then now the Spice. So this isn't quite standard in like going second decks right now, outside of playing an actual Mech Knight deck. This goes against what I was saying earlier, where if I want to draw it, I play 3 of it. But again, I just wanted to play the bare minimum I needed to so that I wasn't dead. But then this was essentially 4 copies, so that's how I came to this ratio. Losing this because of Gizmek doesn't matter. Again, it's a means to level 8s, and that's the whole point. It's there. You summon this guy into a zone, because people don't play around Mech Knights anymore. You force your opponent to negate this because nobody wants the blue sky to get you 1 or 2 searches. So again, it's another way to force response, and your opponent doesn't want to waste removal on stuff like that. And that's all the monsters. No hand traps, as you can tell, because I am of the opinion hand traps suck right now. Why rely on opening 2 or 3 hand traps when you could just have board breaking cards? Mind Control and Instant Fusion. So these are pretty standard in going second deck list. Again, the theory is Instant Fusion, assuming they don't negate the Instant Fusion. Thousand Eyes gets negated, cool, I still have a monster. Mind Control, assuming it doesn't get negated, take the monster. So both ways I get the hard +1. Again, the recurring theme, I want to just take your cards and try to benefit and eventually whittle you down to no resources. Monster Reborn, again, I hate this card right now, but the benefit being that if you're going second, every combo deck sets up just the most elaborate toolbox of resources out of their graveyard. So you can steal triple burst dragons, you can steal Electromites out of the graveyard, you can steal a Cerberus or something to make your own Orcust combo. So you get the idea. Going first, obviously you would never play this. Going second, combo decks give you so much tools to work with. Why not? I play one more spell, but the only trap you play. This card you don't need to play, but I found that if you don't ever actually have 8,000 damage on the first battle phase, the best thing your deck can do is you whittle them down to literally nothing, so that into Gearsu, Galatea, and Counter Trap is enough that they're under so much pressure they can't win. And then the last card I played is One Desire. So the One Desires probably doesn't make a lot of sense, and I'm playing 42 cards, so it's not like I just threw it in. But the idea is, with Mech Knights, you have so few spells and traps that you're going to have hands of Mech Knights. So the idea behind it is, I wanted just one more spell, one more trap, something that was good. So it started with it being Reinforcements of the Army, to search an Armageddon Knight, which you see I don't play anymore. That changed to an Upstart Goblin when I cut all that stuff, just because Upstart Goblin can become another card. That was working out for a little bit, but you know what's better than drawing 1 card? Drawing 2. So it just evolved into being Pod Desires. And this is enough spells combined with the Kaijus being able to force zones that the Mech Knights didn't really break for me all day. And I guess jump into extra deck?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, cool. So shout out to the suited up Dragon Ball.
Nice.
Okay, so the Instant Fusion target, Thousand Eyes Restrict. Obvious. You don't really need to talk too much about the good toolbox Instant Fusion. There's argument to play a second Instant Fusion target, and going forward I will be changing my extra deck because I want to play a Winda.
Okay.
Just for the theory that, like, if you ever play against an Orcust player and they go and their standard turn 1 Orcust with Winda and then detached in Gear to protect it for the end phase, you have a pseudo Winda lock on your opponent. And I didn't really give that much value, but I think I will play that going forward just because this type of deck is going to become really popular.
And I'm assuming Millennium Eyes doesn't exactly fit into your philosophy.
Millennium Eyes is good, but it's not just forcing a card, because I want to play a card that was like force. Okay, play a card that's force, play a card that's force. Because, like, outside of literally the guy holding the camera right now, shout out to Mincy.
Yeah.
That people all day were playing 4 negates, 5 negates, all these interactions, but I was playing through it because I would play force card, force card, force card, force card, and then after we both had low resources, I Orcust for combo for lethal. If you can put up 6+ interruptions like Minsu could, then good job, you win that game. But nobody else was doing that, so that was the idea behind it. The spice. Again, so I was playing a rank 8 package, not counting the Gearsus you're obviously playing. You play 2 of this. Again, the theory behind the deck is I wanted to play a rank 8 engine that forces your opponent to respond. So let's say Galaxy Eye Cypher. If you're not familiar, it's essentially a brain control. Take a monster. Your opponent negates it, cool. I will overlay the Armor Photon Dragon. Try to pop a face of card. You negate, cool. Overlay Cypher Blade. Finally pop another card. This card can be face down or face up. You negate that too, cool. 2 level 8 monsters, which is usually a recurring Gizmek, so I don't even lose much resources. Dealt with essentially 3 cards or 3 interruptions. Then I can do lethal damage. And then obviously that to go with the 2 and the 1. You don't need more than this, especially if you're going second. If you're going first, then you're trying to do more of a grind. The long Girsu is extremely important for breaking boards. People don't seem to use this as a stepping stone enough. And yeah, there's not really much to elaborate on this stuff. Don't forget you can send back Gizmeks and stuff. Dark Machine in general, it's really hype. Monk of the 10 to go with the Vishudas. Again, it's just what it is. Also, there's something you need to keep in mind too. The tokens you get off of Nibiru count as non-effect monsters. So it's really funny when somebody Nibiru's you, and then you use your graveyard Vishuda effect to bounce a card because they gave you a non-effect monster. Keep that in mind. And then the Nightmare package. Again, there's not much to elaborate on. You could cut this, but again, you're going second deck, so you have the toolbox of removing something. And sometimes you really do need to just get rid of a Nibiru token, so you have to play this nowadays. And then the best Orcust monster in the game.
Boral Sword.
Boral Sword, yeah. Like, there's not much to talk about this card. Quite often, you're just using the very last card, the last resource you have just to make this, and your opponent's like, oh, okay, well, at least they're just going to Boral Sword me. They can't turn anything to a defense. And you go battle phase, swing over their monster, and they're like, all right, well, I guess I take 3,000, and then you go Gizmek effect.
Yeah.
Swing for 24, and then turn defense, swing for game. And they're like, oh, well, I thought I was safe. No, you're not. All right, and I guess side deck. Mind the proxy. I gave somebody back their Ibli. Okay, so the 3 Iblis on the sideboard might seem a little wacky, but I think these are actually going to go into my main board. Just main deck 3 Iblis, because the theory was if somebody's going to Nibiru me, or if they make me go first, rather, because as you can tell, these are my side deck, I want to be able to just normal this, give them the Ibli, and then do typical Orcust, and now they're stuck under Ibli, but more importantly, they can't Nibiru me because now they have the Ibli on their board. Everyone right now is so fascinated with how to deal with the Nibirus, which I'm also siding 3 of, obviously, because it's like the best side deck card in the game right now. I wanted a main deck card that was synergistic, that helped, that also played around the Nibiru. Now, one important factor is what I was doing with my deck quite often is I was going special summon, special summon, special summon, doing effects, doing a Phoenix to bait something out, doing a Unicorn bait something out, and I'm getting down on resources because you don't have that many cards to work with. I would, after comboing off game 2s and 3s, normal the Ibli, bring back a Phoenix pointing to it, and then do a Unicorn effect, chain blink to Ibli, so all of a sudden I have a spinning effect that gets chain blocked by an Ibli. There's a lot of tricks you can do with Ibli, so I think Ibli is actually probably the best normal summon right now for like why people used to play it, but it's better now because you do it going second and play around Nibiru, which again, play siding 3, real strong. Cosmic Cyclone, only generic back row hate. The idea behind it was I didn't want to lose to Babel, for example, but I put my opponents in a lot of situations where I would have a Dingirsu protecting back row, or my opponent would have Pendulums, some generic back row that they all have graveyard effects now. So I just wanted to banish it, and that was the whole theory behind that. Again, leading up off of that is I side summon limits. The theory is if I'm going first, which people, after I put up 13,000 damage turn 1 through their board, they're like, wow, I don't want to lose to that again, especially since I chose to go first, or chose to go second. I'm going to choose to make him go first. So then I would just set up summon limit protected by a Dingirsu, which I invented, by the way. I started that. So if you see someone doing it in a big regionals, I did it first because I'm a scumbag. But anyways, Dingirsu making this stay relevant, not be destroyed by Twin Twister, which is still super common. That's the key to victory. This is enough to beat most players. Again, so this is really one of the only things going first. Nibiru, quite often, if I was going siding and I didn't know if I was going first or second, I would honestly just bring in this. And quite often this. I would bring in 9 cards because I was like, I can beat the Nibirus if I bring this in. I can Nibiru if they want to go first. I can summon them if I have to go first. So that ends up being quite common. And the red reboots because you're playing Boral Sword, and I guess I can kill you pretty quick. And yeah, that's everything.
Perfect. Do you have any shout-outs for today?
Shout out the Winnipeg crew. Shout out Super Buddy Team Force Unite.
Super Team Buddy Force
Super Team
Unite.
Buddy Force Unite. I'm stupid.
Yes,
yeah.
you are.
Yeah, for sure. No, shout out to Minsu, the only guy who beat me at the regionals. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, just make 6 negates, guys.
Make 6 negates. It's easy.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, take it easy.